Kylie here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com. I'm going to do some constant memories of a sort, which led to one specific one. So, anyway, I pulled out a few. I didn't pull out the whole bag, just a few tickets. Here's one right here. This is, again, this is totally random. This is when I saw Typhoon, the big sort of wall of sound, chamber, pop rock, folk, whatever, symphonic band from Portland, Oregon. The first time I saw them at the Cedar Cultural Center, September 19, 2013, and the Radiation City opened. This is in Minneapolis. God, it almost doesn't seem like it was 2013. I think it was more recent than that. But the best thing I can say about this show is, it was terrific. The first time I saw Typhoon, I've grown to really like them, become a big fan, somewhat a big fan at least. And it was like 25, they had like 25 people. They had like 3 or 4 drummers going on and 3 or 4 guitarists. One of the guitarists specifically was just totally blowing my mind. Multiple vocalists. Cedar Cultural Center is not a teeny space, but the stage is not that big. So what you had is you had a lot of the band on the stage, and then you had a lot of them kind of scattered just on the floor and in front of the stage. So the other cool thing is, I don't know how I got the opportunity. I was talking about how I write a blog and all that stuff, and I ended up being able to go backstage. It's like the only time I've ever been backstage at the Cedar Cultural Center and hang out with some of the band members. Kyle Morton, I think, specifically. The thing is, I love Typhoon, but my life depended on it, I couldn't name the members of the band other than Kyle Morton, unfortunately. And the large ensemble. So yeah, Typhoon. That was September of 2013. And they have a new album that I need to revisit. I was going to revisit actually today. So, but okay, there's another one. Here's a Rush show at the. Oh, I can totally remember. I have the circumstances of this show. The Rush show. Well, I should also mention with the Typhoon that was supporting White Lighter, which probably remains my favorite album of theirs. But anyway, they play a lot of the White Lighter stuff naturally, and the stuff from before that, Human Peach or whatever it's called. I'll have to talk more about Typhoon and show my collection. But yeah, this is the Rush show. It was actually on Alex Lifeson's birthday, August 27th, 2010, at the Minnesota State Fair. At that point, it was a lot different, even though it was only 11 years ago. In the sense that I would not go to the state fair that often. I didn't even know my wife at that point. Going to the state fair was sort of like a very hit and miss thing. Once I think I saw Humphreys McGee, which I can maybe go into another story about that later. I saw them at the state fair, and I don't know, I saw a couple other shows at the state fair, but I just hated crowds, and I wouldn't go, but I did go, and I also hated having to take the bus and the shuttle like we typically do now. But I decided, so I ended up parking and walking, and I know I didn't have a ticket. Like I had a long period of time where I would get my tickets, I still do to an extent, for these expensive concerts actually from someone who has an extra. And I did find someone with an extra ticket, and he reluctantly sold it to me. I can't remember how much I paid him for it. I probably gave him $25, maybe I gave him $35. I can't remember. Like this ticket, let's see what this says, $68. I didn't give him $68. Maybe I gave him $40. But he was looking at me like kind of reluctantly selling because he didn't have a choice. But of course, it's seated, so I didn't want to sit next to this guy. He was nice enough to sell me the ticket, I guess, or reluctant enough, but not so reluctant to sell it. But I ended up moving around. Like, I probably sat in about 5 different places. The big deal with this show was this was the Time Machine tour, I'm pretty sure, and they played all of Moving Pictures. So everyone got to finally see the Camera Eye live, which I enjoyed seeing that live. I do enjoy Moving Pictures. I think the fans make a bigger deal out of that and that song even though if I went to one song on Moving Pictures, it might be my favorite, but anyway, it was cool to see them play it all live. They had a lot of videos and stuff like that, the comedic stuff that ended up on some of the DVDs and like the documentary, a couple of documentaries. The last documentary that was in the theater. So yeah, this was not the final time I got to see Rush, but this is right after. Yeah, that's the other thing about it I remember. This is right after Clockwork Angels came out in 2007, I think it was. So it was still a couple years after, but they're still touring in support of, not Clockwork Angels, I mean Snakes and Arrows, rather. Which to this day still kind of remains my least favorite Rush album. But they did play both BU2B and Caravan, which those were great tunes, and knowing the fact that they were going to be on the next record, I think they even released them as singles, like on iTunes or something like that. There may be even physical versions, I don't know. But, I mean, I love Rush, but there are people that just completely dwarf me in terms of their fandom and knowledge and everything like that. So, and the last one I grabbed here is the Bloc Party show. Yes, this is pretty memorable. May 4th, my wife's birthday, 2009. It was 2 years before I met her. Well, a little bit less than 2 years. But Monday night at First Avenue. The thing about this show is, and I'm not certain about this, I'm pretty sure it was in May, but this show had been scheduled and they had to cancel it. Now, I want to say it was probably the fall before, like October, November, something like that. So it was sort of a makeup show in a sense. The other thing that was really frustrating or not the most enjoyable thing about this show is that because First Avenue, you get there, there's not a lot of seating. At this point, I was definitely clamoring to get seat. Well, not clamoring, but I would definitely lean toward getting seating because I can't stand for 3-4 hours anymore like I used to because of my back. But they had a DJ, and it wasn't just like half an hour. It was probably close to 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half. I mean, this says, let's see, doors at 8 o'clock. So if the doors were really at 8 o'clock, I don't think Bloc Party hit the stage till 10:30, maybe even 11. It was good. I mean, it's a good show. It's the only time I've seen Bloc Party. I like Bloc Party. I still contend the song Uniform is them doing progressive rock. I also contend that Week in the City is my favorite album, the best album. I like the previous album, which I can't even think of off the top of my head, that they're most well known for. But it's got Helicopters and everything, their debut album. But, yeah, that was the thing that I took away most for. I think they did do Uniform. I have to look at the set list. But, I mean, they played a little over an hour. But I think it was just kind of, I remember more being frustrated with that DJ. And the DJ wasn't even playing anything I really cared for. I don't even remember what he was playing. I should have brought Principally to Kill. So I was just killing time. I wasn't there with anyone. I did socialize a little bit with the fan base there, but the thing I should have probably stressed more about is, they toured with Mew, but their fan base, progressive rock was nowhere in their, vernacular, their taste, really, I can tell. I remember the people I met, but I was telling them, well, if you like Uniform, then, you might like other progressive rock that you don't even realize, like bands like Foals and stuff like that. So the fourth and final concert that I don't have a ticket stub for, and I had something, oh, there it is. I'm just going to have to show, is because I was looking through some old hard drives for some stuff. I got these old hard drives I haven't looked at in a long time. It's probably my first external hard drive back in the mid to late 2000s, so it's really nostalgic. I found the Apes and Androids file that I originally found, and when I bought it from their store. It was like January 19th, 2008. I'm not sure if it was that date, but that's what the date on the file says. It says store, but I also found the very first time I got to see the band Kaddisfly. So here's their sticker. There's their sticker. I don't know if yes, because you can see this is Subsidy, their label, and the album didn't get released this day, Set Sail to Prairie, but you can see as it says it was supposed to come out in September of 2006. Could go in maybe more about 2006 albums and do like the years things and everything, and it was probably going to be my album of the year because people were actually accessing it, and the band knew about this. Pure Reason Revolution, The Dark Third was like my favorite record that year, but this has gone on that this is what this shows. So yeah, I did a couple of videos about Kaddisfly, I don't know, it was 2015, around the time of their most recent. But here's, I think I showed my collection. If I did not, I'm just going to go through this quick speed round. This is I think their second EP. They had an EP called Honorable Mention in like 2000. They formed like in 2000. But this is in 2002. This is Humania. And this is their first sort of proper full length, though some people call it a mini album. Did You Know People Can Fly, which features the epic. The album contains 42 minutes. I'll have to do more in depth about them because I really want to talk about the show. Then, of course, at the time I saw them in 2006, this is their most recent record, Buy Our Intention Will Buy You a Unicorn, which is the first of a trilogy of albums, a concept. And I have 2 other books. The CD jewel cases and everything are in probably like a Case Logic. So, and this is a really long record, like 70 minutes. Then they put out, because they did not get to put out Set Sail to Prairie in September, they decided to put out a sampler, in effect, which included the song Games, which I actually really like. I know the band were sort of divided on that about it being kind of poppy, but I really liked Games. But had a bunch of songs from Set Sail to Prairie. The sampler is called Prologue to Set Sail to Prairie. I thought it had a different name. This is the 4 Seasons EP. It's on the front there. I wasn't looking. So, and then the record I bought maybe 7 times and was handing out and telling everyone Set Sail to Prairie. You know, again, I did videos about it. Maybe I need to do a redux or an update. You can see, you know. So this kind of goes along with, well, this is not the time that they signed it, so. And of course, they later, in their final album, they did their comeback. And they released Horses Galloping on Sailboats, which I have 2 copies. Again, I did videos, maybe I needed an update. And I did get this clock, which I don't know if it still works, but it very much resembles, I don't think it does work anymore. I did an unboxing, I think. This is long, very basically a line from You Are the End from Horses Galloping. I'm trying to remember the last song, maybe the apparition. Oh, the apparition of the Deer Hunter. Anyway, so I stumbled across it. It was August 12, 2006, and the deal was with Kaddisfly. I got this from a friend of mine. I think it was my friend Empty who taped it. The Kaddisfly 3 was probably the biggest name, and then along with Kaddisfly and Kiss Kiss, we're doing this tour, and I really gotten into all 3 of those bands within 9 months. Kaddisfly had played actually at Station 4 in St. Paul the previous February, but at that point I don't even know if maybe I'd got my copy of Buy Our Intention around that time. I don't remember. This one right here probably is the one that I bought first. This is the copy, but I was sort of on the fence about them, but the traversing message board with the Dredge fans kept on going crazy about this band. So much that I just, and I heard about this new record they were working on. I was really excited about it. And then I got a sampler off the MySpace, the Campfire track and everything, and the Campfire really won me over, but then, I got the ability to hear the whole record, and I was just floored. Absolutely jaw-drop, addictive, the coolest records ever, most excited for a record ever, and so I wanted to tell anyone and everyone about it. I was buying copies whenever I could for the very part of the year. It didn't come out, but that show was a big deal. So what happened with that tour, the venue, they were supposed to play, I think, at the Ascot Room on top of the Quest, and one of 2 things happened. Either there was a fire or flooding, or both. Maybe because there was a fire, then they had the sprinkles go on, and it flooded. But anyway, 3 and Kiss Kiss, and they found out about that about 5 days before the show, so that would have been August 5th, August 7th. I don't know. I'd have to look on my live journal or something. I wasn't even writing in the blog at that point. They basically just said, we'll go to the next city. I don't know if it was Milwaukee, Chicago, Madison, St. Louis. I don't know. But Kaddisfly, there were some fans here. There were some 3 fans here, too. The 3 fans were really down about that. It was all on MySpace. I saw some talk about that. But Kaddisfly, there were some other fans here. They're saying, and they talked to the band. The band would find a way to play somewhere if they could. Because I think they maybe had come early. They'd traveled separately from 3 and Kiss Kiss. I don't know. Anyway, they didn't make it, but Kaddisfly, some fan offered to let them play on their lawn or something. But they found this place because the Ascot Room was going to have nothing to do with it. So they did go to they found this place right off University Avenue called the Profile Center, and it literally was a recording studio. No, not that much bigger than this bedroom of mine of ours. And so they decided to play there, and they played for a little over an hour, about an hour. I just listened to it, the recording I have, and they did about 6 songs, including Via Real, which is like my favorite track off of Set Sail the Prairie, Snowflakes, Campfire, what's it called, Empire. Not all the highlights because it's such a great record, and they played a couple songs from Buy Your Intention, We'll Buy You a Unicorn. And the thing that was cool also, I got to really just sort of get to know, bond, whatever you want to say, with the band. And we actually had dinner right across the street, I think at a Quiznos, which I'm not really huge into Quiznos, but it's like you're hanging with this band you really have been like listening to and getting. I got to do that one other time with Ben Sinister, which that'll be for another video, but the guitarist Aaron Tollefson and Chris Ruff, the singer, Kyle Brewer, the bass player, and the drummer and the other guitarist. Why am I spacing on their names? Kuthers, Beau and is it Beau and why am I spacing on the membership? The 2 Kuther brothers, basically. I don't know if all of them were at dinner. I remember Aaron was, and I want to say Kyle Brewer, the bass player, were. At least a couple of them. But yeah, I was just chatting with them. They had I was telling them about what the album was sort of meaning to me and everything like that. And it was right in front of me, so it was the most you call it intimate, I guess you'd say, or you'd call it. I would just say, it was the most sort of close up, like a private show in some ways at that place, because it's really a recording studio. So they came a few different times after that. I saw them maybe a grand total of 5 times. They once played with Between Two Skies local band. Anyway, that probably still remains the most significant of all the shows. I know they did some other songs I really love, like Forest at one point, but and I really miss those guys. But like Fair to Midland, I sort of felt like it was some sort of extended family. I think I met Dan Fury, also of Vinyl Fury, who was sort of the unofficial 6th member of Kaddisfly. But yeah, no, that was 15 years ago, in about 6 weeks, August 12th. So, but anyway, that's it for today's concert stories. Go ahead and subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you next time.